Pleasure to be here today.
You too.
Thank you for having me.
Mr. Mandela, tell us where you're from.
I was born on July 18th, 1918, into a royal family of the Xhosa-speaking Thembu tribe in the South African village of Mvezu.
Tell us about your parents.
Well, my father was a chief, but unfortunately he died in 1927 when I was just 9 years old.
Did you go to school?
Actually, I was the first in my family to attend school. I went to the University of Fort Hare.
Contribution to the people of South Africa.
It's helping to end apartheid in, the year 1994.
Can you explain to our audience what apartheid was and how it affected your country?
Of course. Apartheid was a policy of segregation and discrimination against the black people of South Africa. It caused racial division for our people and gave us less rights to all the black people in my country.
Why were you in prison for fighting for your rights?
I was sent to prison for speaking against the government who racially divided our people.
How long were you in prison?
For almost 27 years.
That's a very long time. What was it like for you to be in prison?
Well, I was sent to Robben Island prison. I was put in a small cell with no bed, no running water, and I was forced to do hard labor at the lime quarry. And because I was black and a political prisoner, I was given less food, fewer privileges, and I was given harsher punishments than any of the other inmates.
Were you allowed to have visitors?
I was only allowed to see my wife every 6 months. Once every 6 months.
How did you survive being treated so cruelly and for so long in prison?
Well, I had hope for my people. They still believed in me, even though I was in prison for so long. I was still their hope for freedom from apartheid.
Would you say that your own people you were fighting for gave you hope to continue on?
Yes, that's exactly correct. A free Nelson Mandela campaign grew that drove the increasing international outcry against South Africa's racist government.
South Africa wasn't able to hide how they were really treating their own people. Were you afraid your freedom at one point? Were you offered your freedom at one point, but turned them down and stayed in prison?
Yes, that's true. With all the pressure on the government, they offered me freedom in exchange for, political compromises, but I disagreed.
It was not long after your release from prison that you were awarded the Nobel Peace Prize for your years of continued work.
Yes, it was in December of 1993, and I was awarded that honor. It was a wonderful achievement, but all I ever wanted was for my country to be free from racism.
How did the end of the apartheid affect the people of your country?
It was incredible to see the millions of people who turned out to vote for me. It was an honor becoming the first black president of South Africa.
This allowed you to make the changes you've wanted to for so long for your people and country.
What are you most proud of?
The Nelson Mandela Foundation and the Elders Foundation I created. These groups are committed to overseeing global human suffering issues.
Thank you for your time today, Mr. Mandela, and it was a pleasure meeting you and learning about your work and the human rights issues in South Africa.
It was a pleasure to be here. Thank you.
The United Nations declared July 8th Nelson Mandela International Day. Nelson Mandela died on December 5th, 2013 from a lung infection.